Shalom. Hey
Yes, and
guys.
I do.
Hey Auntie Leah, how are you? Hey Myrna,
What's up,
what's
Auntie
going
Leah?
on? Latoya, J Mizak, Kamita. Who else do we have? Yamj is here. Marie is here. Okay, we got a few of the
People
family
was
here.
here. People was showing up. That's what's up. Appreciate it.
Kenzen is here. We got the quiet one. Hmm, it's interesting. It's been an interesting day. It's funny. I heard that there were people that were wondering when I was going to go live. I heard that there were people taunting me about why I hadn't gone live. You know, it's funny that people think that I don't take other people into consideration. Salute to the dopest nerd, Natanya Rubin, who was live for almost 8 hours today. I wish I had been able to make it through there to sit with her, but I got to be in the chat for a while and I got to see some things in passing. And, you know, we have a lot of the same people in our community. For me to go live while she was live, that would have been wrong, in my opinion. I think it would have been rude. What do you think?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, a little inconsiderate, but you know, I don't know. People that are worried about. Who was worried? Well, it don't matter who was worried.
It
But
really
people who
doesn't.
are worried, yeah, it don't matter. It's irrelevant. People who are worried about that type of stuff, they really need to get a life. They need to get some business about theyself. They need to clip their
Hmm.
toenails. They need to clean their bathroom, wash their butt, clean their dishes, mop, sweep. They need to just do other things than worry about what other people are doing. That's the problem. Got too many people worried about what other people are doing when you should just do you. But Auntie Leah, she went live.
Hmm.
Salute to her. She in the building. What's up, Archangel Michael? And Natanya went, and yeah, she did a good job. I caught some of it, and yeah, that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to get out here and do your thing, not worried about what other people are doing.
And not only that,
I don't,
support. Support is very important. You know what I mean? Like, I think when it comes to, the emotional aspect of all of this,
yeah,
because let's just be clear, emotions are very high. Very, very, very high right now. There are so many mixed emotions, but Natanya, how she feels matters to me. Her opinion has been so overshadowed and so overlooked for so long. I think people tend to forget 25 years. 25 years since she was hurt, 25 years since she was overlooked, and 25 years ago, the same man that got sentenced to jail time today didn't get sentenced to jail time before. Hella emotional. Now, could
yeah,
I have gone live like everybody else? Absolutely. You know, absolutely. My opinion is my opinion. But I don't know. It was kind of just one of those moments for me where it's like, you know what? I need to, we just need to support. We need to be there for her. We need to make her word important today. Everyone needs to share her life today. Everyone needs to, if you can stop through, stop through. As soon as I found out she was live, I made sure that I shared it when I came through the chat. And, I wasn't going to watch. Like, I don't got it in me to sit there and watch all day long for an outcome that I'm really not surprised about. And I don't like to be a Debbie Downer for anyone. I don't want to be that person that, I know that there were people that had a lot of high hopes about about today, about the outcome of today. I know that there are a lot of people that felt as though, you know, today was going to be the day and the hammer was going to get dropped and it's going to be this and it's going to be that. And there were some people that thought that today was going to be the day that the deadlock went home. Some people thought this was going to be the end of that. Time served. And I think I don't know, I guess that's kind of what we were going to talk about. There was some things that you wanted to bring up, Odell.
I
You wanted to
mean,
talk about a couple of things. So I was figuring maybe we could start there.
okay. Well, I mean, first off, I didn't know that Diddy had pled guilty to some harassment of someone. Something happened, and he had to do anger management back in '99. This was before the nightclub pow powing with
Hmm.
Natanya Rubin. I didn't even know that, but that's the only real time that he's had legal issues. So I say that to say that's interesting. I didn't know that he, he had some harassment charge. He also had um other I guess other things that have happened with him over the years, mainly with allegations, etc. But it looks like the YouTube streets or just the internet streets, I'll just say the internet, right?
Hmm.
The internet is looking at this whole little situation with what happened to Sean Combs, and they're saying, "Oh well, this is a warning to all black men, and this is going to affect the futures of black men, especially black men with money in the future. They're sending a message. It's a dog whistle, blah blah blah. Like you
Yeah.
got people, you got, and I think it's black males because I noticed this. There's different types of profiles, archetypes of
Hmm.
individuals who are online and they go on and post things or say things or do what they do. A lot of people, they don't say what they think online. They just say and they keep it to themselves. You got a bunch of people who say things online and it could be from like a certain perspective. Like I just look at it like, I'll say you got to feminize males for the most part who are online saying all types of stuff. You got these the pro blacks who are online, and this is the type of language that's coming from, I would say the pro black male. Yeah, most of these charges or this charge that Diddy is going down for is going to set precedents for other black males.
Hmm. They
And
like scaring
to
people,
me,
don't they?
well, it's not even a scare tactic. What it is it's putting it's saying that all black men are deviants like Jay's. I mean, like Sean Combs, basically. It's
Hmm.
saying it's basically saying, oh well, um, they're going to come after all of us, and that's simply not the case. I don't get it. I don't understand the saying, oh well, they came after Puff, they're gonna come after me, or they're gonna come after you if you got money. Nah, what it is I think, and we don't talk about this. We could talk about it now. Puff, and I say Puff like Puff, like Gene Deal. Shout out to Gene Deal. Puff. Now, Diddy has pretty much had a stronghold on the music industry for damn near 3 decades.
Hmm.
And that's not normal. It's usually you pass the baton. You look at Motown, Barry Gordy. I mean, he did his thing for some time, and then when his time was up, his time was up. He
I
got
mean, Barry Gordy was running Motown for like 30 some odd years
yeah,
before
but
he
I'm just
stepped
saying,
down.
but think about the way the entertainment industry was, how he didn't monopolize on soul and R&B like Puffy tried to do with like hip hop
I
and
mean,
and
that
and
all
gatekeep.
depends. No, that all depends because if you talk to some players from back in the 50s and the 60s, they would tell you the exact opposite. If you talk to
Oh,
anybody from, Stax Records, or if you talk to anybody from Philadelphia International, they would very much so say that Barry Gordy was gatekeeping. Actually, real rat, there are some people that might actually compare Diddy to Barry Gordy.
well, that well, that's where I was about to go, but I just brought up Barry Gordy simply because of his Motown, what he did, what Motown did. I'm talking about hip hop, the music industry, and the reign that Puffy had, and how long he had it, and how it was an unfair advantage. Where I think labels, for the most part, like if you look at Rockefeller, they had their thing or whatever, then they kind of they just it just went away. Even Puffy, he was there, but he wasn't like prominent like he was before. But I don't know. I'm just saying, like, his reign at the top was there for a long time, and I will say unfairly because he gatekeep, he got certain people out the way, etc. So I say all that to say basically, Puff was an anomaly, and he just didn't know how to get out of the way. I think he stepped on the wrong people's toes. Yeah, he did some bad stuff behind the scenes. There's a whole lot of stuff that's going to come out down the line, I think. But he's done some stuff that's he's going to have to, we're going to have to see. He's going to have to see about, basically. I'm not going to speak on it. I'm not trying to say, oh yeah, whatever. But I say this is long overdue because the situation that happened in '99, I think he should have went down for that. I
The
think
situation that happened with Kid Cudi, he should have went
the
down for
kid.
that.
Yeah.
When he initially actually, violated Cassie on camera, and we saw that. We didn't see that till the statute of limitations. Like, there's a lot of things that we could talk about. There's a lot of things that are wrong. There's a
But
lot
for
of things that are
someone to
wrong.
say,
You wanna know what makes this conversation so unfair?
was that?
All of the things that we have to sit around and pretend like we don't know when we know.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the saddest part about all of this. Let's just keep it all the way a buck. We spoke to somebody who has deep ties not long ago, who told us this was going to happen, that it was going to run down just
Mm-hmm.
like this.
Mm-hmm.
Just like we know, and we spoke to people in the backdrop that said that they were going to erase the entire industry away from the Diddler's bad deeds. and all his wrongdoing. They were going to make it seem like it was only him so that there would be no need for the RICO to kick over all of the pots of everyone who's been involved all along. Like, that's the part that that's what makes all of this suck for me.
Yeah.
Because I gotta sit there and pretend like actually I don't. And see, that's the problem. For those of us who refuse to pretend, for those of us who refuse to turn a blind eye, we're made out to look like we're crazy. See, people say that we're crazy. People say that we don't know what we're talking about. People say that we're making it up. Like for me to have to sit there and listen to a commentator, a white commentator on CNN talk about how the feds had no business bringing him up on charges because there was nothing to charge him with. They overreached. They overdid this. They overdid that. Really? Did they? Like I'm watching them whitewash everything right before our very eyes. But Jeg said from day one he wasn't going to get off. Well, I was right about that, wasn't I? See, that's the funny thing. Everybody said he was never going to get arrested. He got arrested. Everyone said that he was never going to spend a day in jail. He's been in jail for over a year now. I don't know why people keep trying to make it out like, oh, he's been in jail for 2 years. It's only been a year. It's only been a
Yeah.
year. It hasn't even been a year and a month.
Not yet. No.
Like it hasn't even been 13 months. Oh, he's been in jail for 2 years. He's going to be out in 2 years. Last time I checked, federal statute is federal statute. Last time I checked, I don't know anybody that ever got convicted of a federal crime that did less than 85% of that time. People talking about, oh, yeah, he's only going to do 60% of his time. That works with state charges, not federal charges. Why is everybody capping? Why can't everybody just stick to the facts? Why aren't the facts good enough? You want to know what's funny? Watching all of the people who are, oh my God, he didn't get enough time. And then all of the people, oh my God, they're making him stay in jail. It's so unfair. It's so unfair. Why does he have to go to jail? Ah, why is he's in jail for nothing? They made him go for nothing. Like people are really crying.
Literally.
People are really crying about it. People are really sitting there pretending like they don't know who this dude is. I'm sorry. Allow me to reintroduce this pervert. Allow me to reintroduce this guy. Does anybody see this? This is a grown man somewhere around the age of 25 with an underage girl on his lap. Okay? Her name is Anna Kane. And though she is an adult now, what happened to her when she was a minor. A minor. No statute of limitation. She was talked up by the president of his company. She was escorted on to a private plane. She was flown to another state, and then she was driven to another state from there to where she went to his place of business, one of his places of business, Daddy's House Recording Studio. And she is alleged that she was violated by three men that night, including this guy. Now, it would have been cool, maybe, um, in some way, shape, or form, if her story and her allegations and the evidence that, they're going to be, it would have been nice if that could have been included in this federal trial, but it wasn't. It wasn't. And you know what? None of Little Rod's evidence that he's using for his trial that's about to start in like 2.5 weeks. None of that was used in this trial either. Now, what's interesting is Little Rod was working with him for that Love album. So that brings us to the 2020s. What happened to her back in what, I think like 2002, 2003.
Hmm.
And the very same things she's accusing him of doing all the way back then when she was a minor, Little Rod said he was still doing in the 20s. Because Little Rod talked about essay that happened in the studio. He had been violated. He was forced to watch other people be violated. He watched other people that were attached to the situation, work wise and personally wise, procuring and doing things. Like, I'm just trying to figure it out. From Anna Kane to Little Rod, that's 20 years. He was doing it then, he's doing it, doing it, and doing it, and doing it. See, that's the problem that I got. You know, is the judge. I mean, I get it. I get it. He split the baby. He cut it right in half. Prosecution wanted this. The defense wanted this. Everybody spent all of that time writing all of that paperwork and doing all of that research and all of those paralegals and all of those documents and all of that. So he split the baby. You know, he put enough time on the sentence where it would make it look ridiculous if they tried to appeal. So he gets him off the streets and it forces him to sit. You know?
And that's another thing. You got cats online saying that Trump's going to toss him an appeal or toss him a commuted sentence. I'm sorry, that's what it is. I doubt if he does that because the stuff that's going on right now. I mean, it would be very telling if he did. But yeah, he's in there long enough so when Trump is out of office, he may be just getting out of prison.
See, that's the interesting thing. This is a federal case, and he got enough time to cover him so that the Trump term will be over around the same time that he's finishing up his mandatory jail time. There's nobody paying attention to that. Now, there's been a lot of conversation about possible ties and links. Hey, Carla, ties and links between the Epstein situation and the Diddler situation. And I'm still trying to understand how everybody that talks about this case and everybody that has something to say about this case keeps forgetting that HSI, back in what was that, March, April of 2024? I think it was the end of March, early April 2024. They did a raid, multiple properties, and they gathered evidence from every property. The stuff that was reported to the news came directly from the feds. All of this stuff, and they have not one firearm charge, not one, not one. Firearms with no serial numbers on it, filed off. Yeah, I think everyone's missing the point. And if they want to, hmm, how do we say this without saying too much? Because the truth is, there's some things I don't need to say right now. I just don't. But there's an old saying that the old schools used to say, my granddaddy used to say it. I think both of my grandfathers used to say it. There's more than one way to skin a cat. But it's just interesting because see, as long as he's in jail, he he's got to sit and he's already in custody. See, this is probably the best opportunity they have to investigate other things and hang it right on his head. Like at the end of the day, it's not my job to sit here and sell rainbows and to tell everybody that everything is going to be this and everything is going to be that. So much evidence was not used. But it's the way that they're inflaming this whole situation. Like you were saying, Odell, for them to say that, oh, this is a way for them to come after black men. In what world? Because your
Well,
average black man doesn't have the same resources or reach that the diddler has.
or the proclivities or whatever the hell. Look, it's a slap in the face to say that because not everybody's on that type of time. You got people who really want to. And I was just saying about Barry Gordy. Yeah, I heard some stories about Barry Gordy. People can say he's a piece of shit, but I'm saying the way industry works or the way music works. You know, everyone has their time. Everyone, you know, their that premier producer, that premier writer, etc. You get what I'm saying? And that's pretty much how it works. I was just saying Puffy did all that, stand on top of where he was in his game, in his industry, unfairly, if you really pay attention and you know what it is. But for them to go and say, yeah, you know, he's basically a representation of all successful black men, stop it. Number one, he wasn't like self-made success. Everything was handed to him. It's like,
That's
I
what I
don't
don't
know.
understand. That's what I don't understand about this class he's teaching.
Yeah,
And by
if
the
he's supposed
way,
to be teaching a class about what?
what's he going to teach a class about?
how to put oil in.
No, I'm
I don't
serious.
know.
Like, I'm trying to understand what kind of class is he teaching? It's
No
called
idea.
free. What is it called? Free game. He's giving up game. Game on what? The
He's
only thing that
not
he could give, the only thing that he could give advice on are all illegal matters
how to take. The
and
thing is
unethical.
he's not a real producer. He's not. I like. I don't know a song. I don't know anybody that can say he wrote X, Y, and Z a song and to be like, oh yeah, that was dope. Nah, he's not real. He's a hack. He's someone
Well,
who
he's worse than that. He's worse than a hack. He's worse than that. That's like disrespectful to hacks. Because at least a hack can grab on to something and work that gimmick. You know who I would call a hack? Cardi B. I call Cardi B a hack. Diddy done less than her. At least she was good at twerking. He was actually marketing himself as a dancer, as a backup dancer, and he was never good. He was never good. Am I wrong?
I didn't pay attention to his dancing like that, but he definitely didn't have no talent from what I saw with the raw talent. No, but yeah, he's someone who was propped up. He got a job, Uptown Records. He got fired. Then he allegedly uh, may have done some extramarital, extra relational things with someone with the last name of Davis, not Betty Davis, and that's how he got what he got. So you know, yeah,
Let me keep it a
he
buck. Let me keep it a buck, but I'm going to say alleged on everything. It was alleged and said, and information shared with multiple people, that when Kim Porter was working at Uptown Records, the reason why she was able to get that Mercedes Benz that she got, was it a C class or an E class back then? I think was it the 190? It was one of those. You remember those? They were very popular in the late, the mid 90s time. It was like the Hyundai of, but it was a Mercedes Benz. She had already been collecting personal footage of the diddler and Andre Harrell, allegedly.
wow.
And she was able, I think it was the E class, she was able to use that information, okay, allegedly. So she knew what he was, see, allegedly, all the way back then. And I'm going to be very honest with you. I used to hear the way her and Kimura used to gossip about their relationships with Diddy, what they knew about Andre Harrell and Russell Simmons. Like, and I've spoken on it. If you want to know, go back and look for it. By the way, guys, can we do something about these likes? Because these likes are they're lacking, in my opinion. They're lacking. I'd appreciate it if we could hit that like. But no, seriously. So whatever happened, what I do know is that the diddler overstepped his bounds with Andre Harrell, which is why he got fired. And guess what? He went over his head and he went to the man that was pulling his strings, Clive Davis. And Clive found a new do boy who had less morals and less scruples than Andre Harrell. I think a lot of people just have a hard time dealing with the reality that most of these men in the industry deal with men on the DL. I don't know why people have such a hard time dealing with that. Like, I think that's the thing. That's part of the reason why when it all came spilling out of me, when it all came pouring out of me, when I first started really speaking up heavy about all of this, it was just because for me, it had gotten so ridiculous that I couldn't fake the funk anymore. Like, how is it that people heard Wendy Williams say stuff like they say, "Oh, well, what rapper is gay and what which rappers are gay?" And she was like, "I think the question you should ask is which is straight." Or when she talked about, you know, our homosexual hip hop times, like I don't think people understand. There are so many lies, the level of lies, the layer of lies on top of lies on top of lies on top of lies on top of lies. What's he going to teach anybody? What kind of class is he going to teach? How to videotape people, hold things over their heads, and get away with it for decades? How to become a gatekeeper and how to take advantage of your community and convince them into believing that you're a pretty okay guy? Like the simple fact that Nicole Westmoreland actually had the audacity to sit there and talk about, yeah, the art of deceiving, pretty much. And she had the audacity to sit there and cry and talk about how inspiring she found this deviant. Because see, this is the thing. People can say whatever they want to say about me. They can try to create, they can try to cover it up, they can try to pretend like everything that I'm saying is a lie. They could try to pretend like I got it wrong, I over exaggerated, I did. They can say whatever they want to say. But the thing is all of these things have been said before. All of them. And not just by me. I'm not the first person to say these things. And I pray to God I'm not the last. I pray to God I'm not the last. But yeah, career blocking 101. How to sit real talented people down so that you can get the people in there that you want in there and move them around. Like
Well, people want to say that you're jealous, um, and you throw salt or you do this, you do that because I don't know, but the reality is no, that's what it is. If there's someone, and that's why I mentioned Puff and how untalented he is. If someone is not talented, they're threatened by anybody else that's coming up under them that may be talented. Like,
mm-hmm.
look at Nip, and Puff tried to put Nip up under his wing via who's that one girl, Laura London. And Nip was a
And
boss. Nip wasn't no. I'm gonna follow you. Blah blah blah. He was a boss, and Puff knew that. Jay and him know that. Now he's not here, and I'm just gonna be very careful on how I say certain things because I'm starting to realize as I'm doing a lot more snooping and investigating and understanding how certain people, um, that listen to especially your content, how they try to frame things up and how they try to say things. But I said to you, I was saying they would say that, oh, you're just hating or you're jealous or this and that. Or they
mm-hmm.
can't say you're not talented because you are talented. But they will say you're one or the other because, oh, well, because, she has an axe to grind or this or that or whatever. But no, but the reality is that's all that is in this industry. It's just a bunch of gatekeepers. It's a bunch of people who are afraid of the next person coming up that will outshine them and could potentially take their spot. Because the problem is with this industry, we don't run it. That's just what it is. We run the culture, but we don't run the industry. And you know your spot basically could be gone, one Negro at a time. That's what one of the OGs was saying. So yeah, no, you're right when it comes to untalented people trying to move the talented people around. That's just real.
It's the best way in the world to gaslight people into a certain kind of social engineering. Like, for instance, I was talking to this one guy, and he was brilliant. He's in medicine and he was working. And salute to everybody that's in here. We could use 250 more likes. Please don't be afraid. Don't be allergic of the like button. Double tap the screen or hit the three dots and just push the thumbs up. We'd appreciate that. No, but I was talking to this guy and he was working at a pharmaceutical or a medical company, and he was having like a really hard time at the company. He was saying, he said he got so frustrated. He got so frustrated that he left, and he didn't understand how, the guy that they had operating the company, managing the company, he didn't understand how somebody so unintelligent was his boss. And it was funny because I said to him, well, it's very simple. Would you like for me to explain it to you? And he was like, sure, I'd like to hear what you think. So I was like, let me put you up on game. Black excellence, that's some bullshit. It's just some bullshit. And the simple fact that people actually fall for that. Oh, thank you, Barbara. And hey, Michael, 9 months. They said it never lasts. And welcome to all new members. Um, no, but seriously though, like I told him, the these companies, they like hiring intelligent people, but they already know that after a certain amount of time with them being there, if you let them operate in their natural like G nature, they're going to take it over. See, when you got somebody that's intelligent, when you got somebody that's brilliant, when you got somebody, there's only up. So if you leave a bunch of intelligent people there and you let them keep growing and keep thriving and keep growing and keep thriving, the owner of that company is one day probably going to find themselves in a position where they're going to have to fight with the people that they brought in. Now, see, they want to benefit from their genius. They want to soak up all the knowledge that they have, but they don't ever want to have to give control up. So what they do is they go and find an idiot that takes instruction real well. They give them a great salary, a salary probably just as great, if not greater, than the people that they're not smart enough to supervise. And then they sit there and tell them what to do to keep pushing everybody's buttons. So, meanwhile, the company is benefiting from the genius of these people, but they got an idiot keeping them in line. So, this way, eventually, they'll get frustrated and they'll move on. But the company gets to absorb all of that knowledge and they get to keep all of that there. Have you ever heard about a situation like that in a company, Odell?
I mean, of course, that's why they have board members and trustees and all that. But then, yeah, you think when I was working at Saban back in the day, there was somewhere I didn't even I guess anything they said intellectual property wise that I came up with, they owned it. I thought that was pretty effed up. But that had happened where I think one of my guys came up with a cartoon and I don't think he got it put out there or whatever. But yeah, I mean, if you create something, they own it because they essentially own you, which is not fair, but it's business. It happens.
You know, the Rockefeller contract. I was very, very, very keen as to what those contracts said because I knew members of state property that I was cool with. We sat down, we had all kinds of talks, and I don't think the guys like to talk about it. I don't think they like to be honest about the way they were taken advantage of. We can use 200 more likes, people. Please don't be afraid. Don't be shy. And don't be afraid to bless us. Don't be afraid to come over here and share with us. Everybody goes everywhere else and they share so freely. Feel free to share with us over here. You know, they could get as much studio time as they want. They could get as much weed as they want. There was always plenty of Almondale laying around. They had all kinds of stuff. They were allowed to go to the jeweler and get a chain. They got all kinds of little perks. Even when most of the members of state property went to go sign their contracts, they had a DJ in there. They had a bunch of, you know, happy happy times stuff in there. They had all kinds of Almondel in there. Like, and they didn't show up. They were late. They didn't show up for hours. But when they showed up with lawyers and gave them all their contracts. And they all, for the most part, pretty much signed their contracts high out of their minds and drunk off their asses without lawyers present. That's that was how most of the Philadelphia rappers got signed to Rockefeller. And there were clauses in that record that said they could get all the free studio time they wanted, they could have access to the producers and whoop de whoop de woo. But whatever Jay-Z heard, if he decided he wanted to take that record, Jay-Z got first pick on all of the records that were recorded. Those are facts. I'm not even making that up. Nowhere near even over exaggerating. Nowhere near. That's why he was able to put out album after album after album after album. You knew it was something with hit records after hit records after hit records because he went and all of the artists that they signed from Philadelphia, he went and took their records. That's how that worked. Well, number one, always read the fine line. Always have a lawyer look at your contract. They were drunk and high. Hey, all things. They were drunk and high. They weren't thinking about that. They was partying. They had strippers in there. They was giving lap dances. It was a straight party. So predatory. All of this is predatory. Like it's just sad to me because that's the least of the abuse. Yeah, you need to have your own lawyer. But they don't do that. And the artists that come through with their own lawyer, the artists that have the common sense to come through and do good business, because see, that was me. I was always looking out for my affairs. It's funny. The people who didn't allow themselves to be taken advantage of, the people who knew what it was, the people who were smart, those were the people that they're difficult, they're terrible, they're this, they got for crying out loud. What was the rumor when we went to Sheen that I was a diva? They
Mm-hmm.
were trying to say that I was being a diva. It's funny.
Mm-hmm.
That's funny. It's real funny because that's not true. Matter of fact, there were a lot of things that weren't right when we were there. I never said a word. And while we were there, while there some of the people that were working the event, I mean, like the event was a mess. They were behind schedule. They were behind this. I was told that most of the vendors and stuff that they had there, people hadn't even been paid. Maybe I shouldn't have said that. But then
Well, I
again, I
mean,
didn't sign.
yeah,
I
that
didn't
see,
sign a
look,
non-disclosure
that
agreement.
but still, nonetheless, yeah, just certain stuff don't say because you these people take stuff out of proportion and they run it back. Don't even
I'm
worry
not
about it.
taking anything. I'm not taking anything out of proportion.
I
I'm
didn't
not.
say you
This.
take things out.
Oh
Did I say you take things out of proportion? Listen,
no.
critical think. I said
Okay.
people listen to what you say and they take things out of proportion. They run and they yeah. So yeah, you got to be very mindful of when you say stuff like that because they're already they're looking.
I
But
mean, they can look.
you definitely were not a diva.
Not at
So
all. And when things went wrong and when things weren't okay, I said it's all right. We'll be okay. We'll make it through it. Even with a storm coming, I was nothing but amicable. I was nothing but decent. There was a problem with this, there was a problem with that, and we worked with it and we flowed with it. But to take my decency in those moments and then to use that as an opportunity to run and try to create a false narrative about me, because what I'm starting to realize is that that's really what everything has been about when
that's
it
what they
comes to me.
do. That's what they do. And you got to be already on top of it. It's I hate to say it like that, but that's what this industry does. Let's just keep it a buck.
That's exactly what this industry does. So it's just, I don't think people understand. For anyone to say that what's happening to Diddy is a sign that they're going to be coming after black men, it's funny, they didn't say that when they came after R. Kelly. Matter of fact, nobody was, I mean, other than Jocelyn Savage, nobody was making a big stink about R. Kelly going to jail. It's wild because R. Kelly is doing so much more time than it looks like the Diddler's going to do. And they both got hit for the same things, except for the fact that there was no pow pows found. There wasn't all of this laced baby oil found. There wasn't, like there was, it's weird. It's so much more and yet so much less.
Hmm.
Oh yeah, they hung R. Kelly high for everything. But this is the issue that I'm really having a big problem with. Your average black man, even your average successful black man, and when I say successful, I'm talking about millionaires. They would not have been able to afford to do what Diddy just did. Like I want y'all to think about this. At the beginning of all of this man was technically considered a billionaire. Technically, on the books, he was considered a billionaire. The law team, the dream team that he put together to get what he has, to get the deal that he got, to work all of this stuff. No, R. Kelly didn't have evidence of other powerful people. R. Kelly had his own stuff. That was it. He had his stuff.
Yep. He didn't have a list. I mean a dossier, I would say, or a bunch of videos. It was just him.
People keep forgetting about all of the people who were invited to his parties. Powerful people, all kinds of people, and not just black people. See, I have no doubt in my mind that if it was just a bunch of black people and people of color, that they would have hung everybody high. But when you start having people from royal families, when you start having people from government, when you start having people, from the other hue, yeah, they get real touchy about what they let come out. Real touchy about what they let come out. I just wish the public would stop being so gullible. That's all. I wish everybody would grow up. Everyone should just grow up. The question is, how does somebody like him still get convicted of anything? That's the real question. Because with the kind of money that he has or had, because he went from 1 billion to now he's down to like 300 million, and he still has a bunch of cases that he has to do. He has his trial. Yeah, the prince people from the royal family. And
The
Andrew,
Battenberg.
I'm just saying, like, how does somebody with that amount of money still get convicted? Like, seriously, with the amount of money that he had and with the kind of money that he threw at this thing. I'm just curious. How did he still get convicted? Like, I think everyone's looking at this the wrong way. See, regular black men would not have been able to afford to do what he just did. Normal, successful black men, and I'm talking about millionaires, would not have been able to afford to do what he just did. Like, people sit up there, oh, yeah, he beat the system. He beat the system. Did he beat the system? Or did he play the system? Did he play it? Because nobody beats the system. Am I wrong, Odell?
Nah.
Nobody beats the system. You don't beat the system. You play the system. You play the game. You work it. With as much money as he has, with as much, all of it. How did he get convicted of anything? See, that's the question that everybody should be asking, that nobody's asking. People should feel, for those who are looking for justice, for those who are looking for um, karma in some way, your heart should be a little easier today because I'm going to tell you something right now. There's no way he should have been convicted of anything. What have I been telling you all this time? These people don't go down. These people don't get caught. They don't, no matter what. Like I said, this is why people don't come forward. Like Nancy Grace was talking about it earlier tonight. This is terrible. This is terrible. Because what this sentence says is to the victims, don't come forward because you're going to get drugged through the mud and you're going to get this and you're going to get that and you're going to get this. And this is all that's going to happen. She's right. Except for one part. He got time, period. He shouldn't have got no time. So that goes to let us know there's something else working. Am I wrong?
No.
There's something else working here. Like all of the people that are crying that he didn't get off, all of the people that are sitting there talking this and talking that, and I can't believe it. The reason why they're saying that is because they know by the normal rules of the game, he should have went home. He should have never been arrested for real, or released. He should have got bond. There's something else going on. Your average black man would not have been able to make it through this. He wouldn't have been able to afford to pay the lawyers to do the stuff that these people was doing. They had that little goofy white black woman up there crying in court. I can't believe he inspires me. He inspired me. And it's sad because she's an actual survivor herself and she's got her own rap horror story from when she got worked over by associates of Cash Money in Atlanta. Like the simple fact that she could see all of that evidence and still go through with that trial goes to let you know she stopped believing in justice a long time ago. She stopped believing in God a long time ago. In my opinion, for her, for what happened to her, that's why I said I don't even understand how she was able to take the case without it constantly triggering her. Half of the stuff that they talked about in court triggered the hell out of me, which is how I knew I didn't want to be in that courtroom. Which is why everyone who sat there online and made fun and sat there and gaslit and was joking about all of the stuff that all that crap that they heard, they're weirdos. They're weirdos because people with normal brains don't find that entertaining. Am I wrong? I don't know.
No,
What do you think? How about you weigh in for a bit?
I mean, I weighed in before, and when it come to that, just re-traumatization, that's not cool. Like that
Oh,
ain't
well,
that ain't.
I'm not talking about that aspect of it. I'm talking about there's something more going on here. There's something more. But they're playing the race card. Oh, and black men, this is what it sounds like. It's a dog whistle to me. That sounds like a dog whistle to me. Oh, this is going to give them a reason to go after other black men. Other black men like who? Like Sean Carter?
No, that just to me, that's just goofy. It's a dog whistle, but it ain't. It's just goofy. It's
Like who? What other black men? What other black men are in the same position as the diddler? They're very few. There is no way, rich or poor. Like these guys are in a whole nother, it's a whole nother echelon. This isn't gonna happen for your average black man. But when I
but
think about the conversation that we had about how they were going to, this wasn't gonna be what everybody else thought it was gonna be, that there was something else going on. You were saying?
nothing.
It sounded like you were about to say something. I'm sorry if I cut you off.
No, don't be sorry. You didn't cut me off. Continue.
I mean, we're just speculating. We're not gonna say anything for sure right now, but what I do know is that this entire scene, everything was set up to create the appearance of something, but something else is going on. And what I do know is, regardless of how much time they gave him, he's not on the street. He's not going home. He hasn't been able to hurt any women or children or anything like that in quite some time. You know, we want things to be one way. But when it comes to God, it's another. And that's why I think it's kind of interesting that, the verdict came out when it came out, and then they took all of this time to do the sentencing. Because honestly, in my opinion, they should have been, the sentencing should have, he was convicted of the two counts in July. He should have been sentenced in August. Like, there was no need for it to take 90 days. For what? Is nobody paying attention to that? Why did they need so much time? And for it to come down to only 50 months? Why did they need so much time? They could have had this wrapped up in August. Nothing about this case was typical. Nothing about this case was by the book. Nothing about this case made sense. None of it. All odd. And yet people are sitting around acting like it made sense to begin with. None of this shit made sense. But here we are, and it's Sabbath, and the judge can say whatever the judge want to say, and the lawman can say whatever the lawman want to say. Will of God is the will of God.
So let's you say if people want to put their thinking caps on, let's go ahead and analyze because you said it was something else going on. And go back to May of 2023 where Diddy filed the racial discrimination lawsuit against Diageo. That same month and year, Cassie's uh they did their demand for $30 million, right? Of her, the threat of her writing in her book. So and in November of 2023, Cassie filed the lawsuit, which he settled right away.
which happened,
January
which happened upon the anniversary of Kim Porter's demise
in November, right?
in November, right
And in
before
January
Thanksgiving.
and in January, right at the beginning of 2024, Diddy withdrew the lawsuit against Diageo. And then in April, Diageo they bought out 50% stake of De Leon and ended the partnership with Diddy. And then in May
HSI,
of 20
and that was around the same time of the HSI raid.
no, May of 2024 is when Diddy
Mm-mm.
the video was released. That
That
was
was when the
the
video was
video.
released. The raid happened before the video was released.
Wait, so the raid happened in April?
The
Because
raid
I thought it
happened, it was
happened
either,
after.
the raid was either late April. No, 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 late March or early April because I sat down the first time I sat down on the blue couch on the truth suit. We talked about it. They asked me, we talked about the raid. It was one of the first things when I was like, if I was them, I would have went in with a hazmat suit. That was early April because I did the interview like a week or two after, like a week and a half after the raid. I couldn't have talked about the raid in May. Well, in April if it didn't happen until May. No, I remember all of this very clearly. I remember when that raid happened. I had just gotten back from Chicago. I was back in Vegas when the raid happened. It was the first time I had sat down with real life in quite some time. Yeah, yeah, it would have had to been very, very, very late March or very early
I could have swore it happened
April.
after.
Why don't you
I
Google
could.
it?
Well, that's what I'm doing. I could have swore that happened after, but I believe
Yes,
you.
E. coli kisses. Cat just pulled it up, March 25th, 2024.
Wow.
Yeah, that
So
was right
that
before they
he
started talking
withdraw
about.
he
Hmm.
withdrew the lawsuit against Diageo in January. Then March is when they raided, and in April is when they ended the partnership, and they gave him about $200 million. That's basically what. Yeah, he got about $200 million for that.
Hmm. When they ended the partnership. And then the Cassie video hit on my birthday, May 17th, 2024.
Who was that? I don't want to say the unfortunate channel's name that said that, what they said. Diddy, there it was a win for Diddy. How is that a win?
Yeah,
How is this a win for Diddy?
yeah. They said it was a win for Diddy because what was it? Because if he had gotten hit with the RICO, he would have lost all of his money. He would have lost all of his assets. He would have lost everything, and then he would have been broke when he got home.
My thing is
And if he had a
only
got hit with the RICO, it would have been probably like minimum 20 years to life. And so they said he won. He won.
well,
Yeah.
I'm going to say it like this: anybody, any men that are saying this is a win for Diddy, I guess maybe they can identify because yeah, a win for Diddy. What do they say about, you're happier than a what in jail? And then uh, yeah, he it's a win because yeah, he'll be in there, he's just gonna be in there throwing it back for the next 4 years. So I guess that is a win when you put that mindset in play. Like, so yeah, the unfortunate souls who said that, I don't get it. But I get
You,
it now when you think about it. It's a win because he's gonna be throwing it back for the next 4 years.
I
For them,
mean,
that's a win.
you can say what you say. You can call it a win for that, or I don't know. Anybody who calls going to prison a win has never been to prison.
Right. Shoot. Going to jail for a day ain't even a win.
Anybody, yeah, especially not for a billionaire. But then again, he's not a billionaire anymore. He's only worth about 300 million, probably losing money more and more every day.
So it looks like
Hmm.
Mark what is his name? Agfit
Agnifilo.
Mark Agnafilio. Philo.
Hmm. Hmm.
Looks like he said that they're planning to appeal. Yeah, I was looking at the commentary they were saying on CNN, and I think it was that attorney and it was the Westmoreland lady, and they were saying what they were saying, and
Which
it
is
was just
crazy. Now they want
yeah,
to appeal. This is the thing. Appeal for what? It's 50 months. He's already got a year in. Why are they so desperate to get him out?
they're going to appeal, and yeah, what are they trying to appeal though? That's the question.
See, the thing is the judge, he was more than fair.
Yeah, I think he I honestly thought he was going to get 8 years, something like that. I think I was saying push it to 15. They were recommending 11. Um, See, I guess he laid it right there. Let's talk about this. He laid it at 4 years. So essentially he has to do about three more years. He did it,
Mhm.
and I think he did it purposely because there's other cases that it gives them time for him to sit to be tried for these other cases. We know where he's going to be. There's also, there's money that's going to be siphoned. I hate to say it like that, but siphoned away from him. He has to answer to a lot of different cases. There are so many different cases that are coming up involving Diddy.
They want him out of jail. They're in a rush. There is no need. Everything that this judge has done, he has done real rap. It's favored them. All of the evidence that was kept out, all of the things that were redacted, all of the things that were never included. He has literally taken taken good care of them,
He
even with the
has,
sentencing.
yeah, yeah. So,
Because if he had have gone with what they recommended, now see, if they had gone with the recommendation, I could see why they would appeal. That would make sense. But see, pretty much to appeal this is to really say he doesn't deserve it. But that's funny because the judge read out all of the reasons why he deserves it.
yeah.
Like the simple fact that people could sit there and hear stories about Cassie's diseases that she contracted, um, all of the abuse. And guys, we need 120 more likes. Come on. All of the abuse that she went through, like the
Yeah.
moments of her, they was water hosing her mouth with human,
Oh,
you know,
yeah. Yeah.
to the point where she threw up.
Well, she was choking or gagging. That's
Yeah,
nasty.
like this is abuse. This is abuse. And people, and like the simple fact that they could sit there and call him a good man. I don't know a good man that does stuff like that. I don't know a good man that's interested in stuff like that. How could you ever call somebody that depraved and that disgusting with no respect for human life? Because in order for you to be able to engage in this, you have to have very little respect for human life. And I'm saying this as someone who used to work in the dark sector of the SCX world, S&M and B&D. That's depravity. Let's be clear, that's depravity. You don't get off on that. Not normal people. There's got to be something a little off with you to get off on that kind of stuff. Anybody can say that that's a good man. You should question them. That's like saying, hey, Jeffrey Dahmer, there's nothing wrong with him. He just had a little fetish.
And that's saying, yeah, he just had a little taste, a peculiar taste.
Oh, he's not a sicko. You just said that's a fetish. Like that's what you would have to call it. Let's be clear. Like for him to sit there and talk about, oh, if anyone ever did that to my daughters, really? If anyone ever did it to your daughters, you couldn't forgive them, but you did it to your daughters' mothers. You did it to your kids' moms. Like, why does nobody pay attention? Like everyone, like, appeal. There's nothing to appeal. This is favorable, which means they want him out of jail. and dollars to donuts. We could go if we can get 97 more likes, that would be appreciated because we ain't gonna be here too long.
They're saying that two renowned specialists in sexual disorders gave their expertise, and they said that Diddy was in complete control of his sexual urges and behavior. This is according to the TMZ of all places. Um, they said he engaged in both regular sex and so-called freak off, with only 15% of encounters falling in freak offs or whatever. So
15% of the encounters. So now they're trying to say that it wasn't that bad because he didn't do it that often. That's a freaking lie. They are lying. I am
oh
calling
well,
BS. They are lying. Lying. The
they
testimony that
literally.
the testimony that the SEX workers, all of the men, makes that figure a lie.
Oh yeah, I know.
The
But again,
testimony.
this is the court. They're trying to build build up a case with him. So, but back to what I was saying, he still has what 50 lawsuits, 50 civil suits around. He has about 50, over 50, and they range from misconduct, assault, and abuse. And yeah, he has it's a lot. There's still a lot going on with
They
him.
want to get him out of there before the
They had
hammer
to.
drops on
They had to.
anything else. They need to get him. They want to get him out of there
They had to.
before he gets caught up in anything else. I don't think people understand this man. He's probably on edge right now. He's probably on
Probably.
edge right now.
You say
He's
probably.
probably confused at why the magic ain't working no more. Come on, guys, don't be afraid to like. Yeah, I'm sure he's just as unstable as Jeffrey Epstein was. There's more to this. I'm telling you, this isn't the end of nothing.
Yeah,
This is
I
the
had
big.
some other notes. I
This
had some
isn't the
other
end.
notes that I was going to
Mm.
get into as well because yeah, no, yeah, we're definitely not done. I can't. If I could find these notes, I had a whole bunch of other notes though, just talking about other stuff because no, this is just the tip of the iceberg. But I don't want to get into speculatory things either. You get what I'm saying?
Well, if we were to speculate, we would definitely let people know that these are our hypotheses, these are our opinions, but we don't even want to do that. What I'm trying to understand is what's it going to take for, especially America, to look and see when you're being lied to, when you're being gaslit, when BS is afoot, when they're pulling your leg and waiting for you to stop caring and just fart or pulling your finger.
mm,
Like, I'm just trying to figure out how many of you still believe in Santa Claus? Hmm?
the speaking of Santa Claus,
Like, how
the
many
case
of you
where
still believe in the Easter Bunny? Welcome, Chappelle. Welcome.
the
You
case
were saying?
where yeah, no, I was saying the case where the civil suit that named Jay and Diddy, that was voluntarily dismissed by the accuser last year or earlier this
Well,
year.
I
So,
mean, can you call it voluntary after she
well, that's
was
what that,
being?
So
hunted down and harassed.
I'm being very legal in what I'm saying, dear,
I hear you.
because we know what it is. Because where I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to go with that conversation is, I honestly think there needs to be a deeper dive into that whole situation, because we know what it is. Also, people are not really talking about, and I know maybe it's not related, but it is, because it is, the Ashley Parham
Mm-hmm.
situation,
Yep.
and how your name got included in it. And
Mm-hmm.
like I said, I'm hearing other stuff, because there's some things where Jay may be involved in that, but that's a whole nother conversation. But I'm going to start doing my expose. I'll just say it like that. This is a perfect time for me to just start dropping information in regards to Ariel Mitchell, the connection to Rock Nation.
Hmm.
Why were you included in that case?
You want to know what's
You know,
funny?
what people have been saying about um who really was there. I mean, I think I want to. I'll start. I'll probably just start.
Nobody wants to look at what's there. Why were investigators that were supposed to be running around encouraging content creators to do positive content about the diddler? Why were they asking and questioning that autistic victim in Alabama about Sean Carter after he said that they
Right,
weren't friends?
right.
I'm just curious why nobody wants to look at that. If they weren't friends, why would Diddy's investigators be trying to get information that would help a man that's not his friend after he denounced him and said that they was never friends? I don't understand.
Yeah, I
Unless
think
these investigators are working for both men.
they are,
Like
in my
I don't
opinion.
get it. I don't get it. Well, number one, it's already been stated that the guys that were running around online, that Secret Service Sam was so kind to show everybody who they were. So if they come to your house, you would know to agree so you could get paid. I'm just trying to figure out. It was already corroborated that the same guys that was down there in Alabama was the guys that we saw online. Like,
Yeah,
why is everybody being so coy? Like, I don't understand. And the thing
yeah,
is, because I've said so much, and there are so many people who are constantly 444 on those likes, appreciate that. But I'd like it if we could get to 500 before we leave. That I would appreciate. Why does nobody want to ask? More importantly, why is nobody asking any questions about Ashley Parham? Why is nobody asking questions about that? When the lawsuit went out on Pacer the first time, before it added me to it,
and I still have that one. Yes.
everyone was so appalled.
Yeah.
She was in one place, and then she was taken from one place and brought to the diddler. She was brought to him. See? And when she got to where he was, now understand this, before she got to him, she was on the phone and she had said something about allegedly knowing that he had something to do with the unalivement of Tupac Shakur. And apparently, whatever it was that she had to say, it was so compelling that she needed to be drugged from one location to another, brought to him, and then she was viciously, they did her in. And then they violated her with a remote control, allegedly. That's what's in the lawsuit. It's funny how it got amended later because they said that I said you gonna learn today, and I told people to get to get the remote control for her.
Well, what I
It,
want
it,
to
it was
do,
real wild. It was real wild. But I
what I
think
want to
everybody
do,
keeps forgetting. What you want to do is what?
what I want to do is just dig a little deeper because all these stories, number one, didn't just come from nowhere. As far as trying to place you in a particular location in the United States, certain
Mm,
things that you may have said. Why were someone on the Atwood team trying to convince you to jog your memory to say you remembered someone?
mm-hmm.
And then I had to just do a little bit of background on Atwood as well, and I'm like, damn, it's a lot of little funny stuff that had happened, and I think I think people need to just I'm just gonna poke a little something, just
Does
and
anybody
these
even
are
know if Ashley Parham is alive?
right. Where is she?
Where is Ashley Parham? Why has
Yeah,
nobody seen her since she
there's a
did
lot of questions.
that documentary that Natanya Rubin was in? Why has no one seen her? Hmm? Do we know where she is? I wonder if Sean R. Perez knows where his client is.
Well, I got
Hmm?
an update on Sean R. Perez, and I'm gonna get into that too. I can't seem to find Miss Mitchell, the,
Hmm.
the address that she that I got on her that's on record. It
Sounds
comes
like she's
back.
hiding.
Sound like somebody yeah, because it's a lot of
I
funny
mean, you
things.
want to know what's funny? She was making kind of regular appearances on Piers Morgan until we started reminding people that there was something wrong with that lawsuit. And she's been mum's the word. She hasn't said anything. You know, I find it funny because she was like on News Nation. She was like on Piers Morgan, you know, talking about Diddy and how Diddy was going down and how Diddy was done and the Rico was a lock and it was this and it was that, and she and her legal commentary and all of that. Where is she?
Well, she is
Where is
nowhere to be
she?
found. She is
Since we
nowhere to be
responded to
found.
that lawsuit, where is she?
She the response to the lawsuit is there, and demand letter. You're running from a demand letter. Yeah.
Why are you running from the demand letter, Toots? We could use at least
Well,
30 more likes.
we're both gonna get into this
No,
as
no, no. This is bigger than throwing rocks and running. This is bigger than ding dong Dixie.
yeah. Now I'm saying
See?
moving forward
if
for the next couple of weeks.
anybody, if anybody should have been running their mouth online on any of these so-called networks today, it should have been Ariel Paddington Bear. It should have
But
been Paddington. Where's Paddington?
again, yeah, we're gonna slow walk it. We're gonna let everybody know we'll slow walk it. We'll start just releasing videos on what is it gonna be, your channel, my channel, both, just about the whole situation, just about what we're talking about right now. We just gotta slow
Where's
walk it.
she at? Where'd she go?
we're gonna put an APB out there. We need
Where's
y'all to help
Ashley
us find her.
Parham? Where's Ashley Parham? And where's the identity of the Jane Doe and the John Doe that they said named me in that case? Like it's time for people to start coming to reality. Because see, allegedly what I heard is that autistic survivor, the victim down there in Alabama, she, she and Ashley Parham got a lot in common, allegedly. That's what I heard. They got a lot in common. And you know what? It's so funny because right when that lawsuit hit, the next thing you know, Tupac's brother and Tupac's estate, they got pro bono legal representation. He did one interview with Pierce Morgan and he's been mum's the word ever since. Funny. Isn't that interesting? See, I could sit here online. We could sit here online and we could bust y'all up all day, but we don't. We let y'all do y'all big ones. And then we gotta drag you back like dogs, like little puppies that shat and pissed all over the living room floor and put your faces in what y'all seem to keep stepping over. I don't get it. Where is Ashley Parham? And why is nobody talking about her anymore? Her lawsuit came out, she made it very clear. The thing is they didn't say all of who allegedly was present, but I do know she was fingering the people who she believed were responsible for the unaliving of Tupac Shakur. And then the next thing you know, Mo Preem gets all of this new great legal work. You want to know what's funny? They don't seem to be doing anything to help that investigation. You know, they were supposed to be so interested, Alex Spiro and Quinn Emanuel, they were supposed to be so interested in getting to the bottom of what happened to Tupac Shakur, and yet Keefe D just down there in Vegas going through hell. Hmm? And his case just keeps kind of stalling out. Ava Baroni, I believe she has an OnlyFans. I might be mistaken, but I think someone sent me some picture because the little girl Ava, she grown. Ava's about 19 now. She's grown now. And I believe I think I hear tell she's on OnlyFans. Mhm. Like the images that we have been seeing of Ava came from many years ago. Ava's grown. The last pictures that I saw of her, they were very risque, very risque. She was doing a lot of that's the actual subliminal stuff that girl's turned out, in my opinion. I'm just curious. Why does nobody want to know? But see, this is what they do. They throw monkey crap at you. They hurl monkey turds at you until you go like this and you go like this and you go like this and then you forget what was just right there. Where is Ashley Parham? Is she even alive? Where is she? Where is she? Is she in hiding? Hmm? Why did y'all ruin her case? by putting a bunch of fake crap in it, hmm? By adding a bunch of people that don't exist. Why is Paddington Bear no longer making public appearances when she likes getting on Piers where Diddy's going down and she ain't saying it, but where's she at now? Why don't nobody ever ask what's important? Hmm? See, I know why they want him out. He still owns that plane. That plane is out making money, helping make money, helping paying all those legal fees. But you know what? He gets out. If he should get on that plane and make it to somewhere where there's no extradition, he ain't got to worry about certain things bothering him no more. Yeah, everybody's listening to everybody that's talking, but nobody's bothering to listen to the people that ain't talking or the people that are in hiding. I know a lot of people like to say a lot of stuff about me, but ain't nobody talking about the other stuff that's going on out there. They're leading y'all around by your noses. They got all of you up in arms thinking about 18 million trillion different things other than the things that really matter and really count. The second, in my opinion, the second that if they can get that fool out of jail, he'll be on that plane and on that midnight plane to Bali. Hmm. Sure
Mm.
enough. Like, I don't know how anybody can look at his legal team and believe any of these people. They've been sitting there like lying their asses off for months. There are other things going on. We're going to walk it out slow and
Yep.
easy. But for right
Yep.
now, God said no. God said he ain't going home. He got to sit where he at. And the question is, what's God going to say next? Because I'm not looking for a quick fix for justice. I'm looking for something that'll last. I'm looking for something that's going to hold. Welcome, Holly. Welcome to Jag Nation. I don't think y'all understand. We are not about to be emotional. I'm sure a lot of people were expecting me to get online and be emotional and scream about how unfair it is and whoopty whoopty woo. And yet, no, I ain't doing all that. For what? For what? Like I told y'all a year ago, until we wrap up the whole nasty nest, there is no vindication. And for real, nobody's really safe. Real rap. I put my life on the line every time I open my mouth. I have had my credibility questioned. I had been called everything but what my parents named me. I got people using my government name that I've never even met. I have been through so much crap, and most of this, as far as I am concerned, and truly do believe, and everyone else should, uh, I've been maligned by a whole network of,
Weirdos.
on behalf of the elites that I speak out against. And they can call me whatever they want to call me, and they can say whatever they want to say, and they can do whatever they want to do. Guess what? I don't care. You're wasting your time. I got people that sit there and they want to talk about hunting me down. I got people that sit there and talk about, oh, I smell like this, I look like that, and I'm like this, and I'm trifling, and I'm this, and I'm that. Whoop, de whoop. People never even met me. I have had every kind of liar. All of them got criminal records. Every last one of them is a hot wreck of a mess. And as far as I'm concerned, a good share of them are government informants. Like it's the thing is if they would just leave me, if they had just left me alone and let me make my money legitimately, like I've been trying to do my whole life, if they had just left me alone, I might have fell back. I might have. But see, they went too hard. They went too far. They just wouldn't stop. And it really wasn't for me. It was for y'all. It was for the public. It was to make y'all scared. See, them attacking me, that's for y'all benefit. Because they want you to look at me and they want you to say, I don't ever want that to happen to my life. That's part of the reason why they started coming even harder after we sat down with Demore Hadley, after we did Defending Your Freedom. Because see that was just more corroboration to the fact that I haven't been lying about corruption. I haven't been lying about the campaigns. I haven't been lying about the shadow networks. I haven't been lying about any of these things. I've been telling the truth. You know, people talking about, oh, she's been quiet. She's been quiet. No, I haven't. It's a damn lie. But here I am. Here we are. So we're gonna get ready to get out of here. It's the Sabbath. It's beginning for some of us. It's coming to a close for others. For those who are coming to the end of their Sabbath, I pray that you had a decent one. I pray that you had a wonderful day with God. Um, People can see this day as a disappointment if they choose to. I do not. I see this day as just another step down the path of righteousness for His name's sake. You know, the Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside still waters. He restoreth my soul. He leadeth me down the path of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, and not Kanye, but yea, though I walk through, God, though I walk through the valley of shadow and death, I shall fear no evil, for God is with me. Emmanuel. That was Giovanni's middle name. Emmanuel. God is with us, or God is with me. Hmm. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me.
Mm.
He anointeth my head with oil. My cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy will follow me all the days of my life, and I'll dwell in the house of the Lord forever. See, there's what's real, and what's real is God. And there's all this crap that people throw in your face. See, all that stuff that you see, all of the stuff that they got going on, that's what's not real. That's what's fake. Isn't it funny that the realest thing that we have in our life is the one thing that we can't see? The one thing we can't just reach out and grab and touch? See? Our Father which art in heaven, hallowed. Nothing but respect we put on your name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. So above, so below, give us this day our daily bread and forgive us all of the things we've done wrong and all of the places we've come short as we forgive others for all the things they done wrong, for all the places they come short. You know, there's a lot of people that say they believe in God, but do you? You know, we used to have a conversation here, and I would say to y'all, what's bigger, God or your problems? And I would say, put a one in the chat. You know, if you know that God is bigger than your problems, put a two in the chat if you think your problems are bigger than God. So tonight, I want to end with a little poll. It's been a long time. Put a one in the chat if you know that God is bigger than the diddler and all his friends. Put a two in the chat if you think these weirdos get the final say. Put a one in the chat if you think God gets the final say. Put a two in the chat if you think the diddler and his band of weirdos get the final say. That's all I want to know. See, this is the part of me that they hate. Because, see, I know for the past 7 days, all of these devil loving, witchcraft dealing weirdos have been praying for my demise, praying for my harm. If I could share with y'all some of the dreams that I had over the course of the past 7 days, if I even dared to speak some of the stuff that's happened in my head while I was sleeping in my subconscious through the night, it would make some of y'all, it might make you want to vomit some of it. See, I know what they're doing. They just don't know what I'm doing. But I'm making it very clear. I'm putting my faith in God. Now we can sit here and we can allow ourselves to be constantly influenced by the liars that we know are online that are constantly manipulating the truth, constantly manipulating the facts, constantly manipulating details, constantly manipulating our emotions. Don't forget, these are energy harvesters. I want y'all to think about all of the emotions that got thrown around today. Matter of fact, today is probably the most emotions that was thrown around since the demise of Charlie Kirk. Because the demise of Charlie Kirk, oh my goodness, that's all anyone could talk about. It just drained every last one of us. You keep forgetting how this stuff works. Y'all keep forgetting how they work. All of these thumbnails, all of these people sitting here online, sitting here arguing about this, arguing about that. And that's why I put the title in today, like I put the title in today. What happened and why? And let's talk about all of these mixed emotions. Because, see, all of these emotions, they create energy. And this is what they're looking to harvest. They want your energy. They want your energy and they want your mind and they want you afraid. They want you confused. They want you befuddled. They want to harvest from you in any way, shape, form possible. They will do whatever they have to do to jerk you around. It broke my heart. It broke my heart to see how many people were emotional today. Some people I can understand because they actually have a real attachment to this situation. Yes, attention currency. Absolutely, Miss Alina. Let us not forget who we are and let us not forget what we do. See, that's what's so important about Jag Nation. That's what's so important about the Wolf Gangsters. That's what's so important about the Nerd Herd. Because we bring people back. Because see, the internet, especially over here on this YouTube, they take you out there. They take you out there on a joyride to hell. Mess around with your mind, mess around with your emotions, mess around with your head, have you investing in it, have you super chatting, have you cash apping. They want to sit there, give you all, they want to sit there, they want to yell, they want to go crazy, they want to do this, they want to do that, but nobody offers no solution and nobody's telling you to go back to God. I want y'all to think about that. They sit there and they rev you all up. They get you all worked up. They get you all caught up in your feelings, and nobody sends you back to God. Keep your vibrations high. Lord knows I have to work at it sometimes. I do, because I'm human. But what I will promise you is this: I won't stop believing in y'all if y'all don't stop believing in me, and we don't stop believing in God together, because that's how it works. There's a lot of things that they want y'all to forget about. We're about to piss a lot of people off, I'm sure, in the next couple of months, reminding everybody exactly what's going on. But the three names y'all should be thinking about right now, overall, who is Sean R. Perez? Where is Ashley Parham? And what happened to the press run of Paddington Bear?
Hmm. Well, guess who else we can tap in now that they're back on
Ooh,
YouTube?
ooh.
Liz, she's back on YouTube.
Her ban got lifted.
Yeah, and she got all her 200K subscribers back.
That's
So y'all
fabulous.
follow Liz at Liz M Crokin. Yep, we can get her tapped in because there's a lot that you and her will be able to intersect and talk about. Yeah. So she's back. She's back on YouTube.
Fabulous. Fabulous. We could use some more kick ass people who aren't afraid to go up against demons. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
hmm. Is there anything else, or does that pretty much cover it?
I mean, that's it. I'm ready to start unmasking the BS. So I'm gonna
Hmm.
see how we'll walk out this story about, Paddington, and we just gotta be real careful. Not that we gotta be in fear. It's almost like a surgeon. It's almost like, what is that, puffer fish? Is that the one fish where they use it for sushi, and if they don't cut it right,
Yeah,
that it
it's
turns
known
into,
to take people out. It creates a neurotoxin that
yeah,
unalives you. That's why pufferfish sushi is so they consider it like, ooh,
yeah.
dare to eat it.
Mm,
I've had it before. I prefer
I'm not
eel.
gonna try it. I'm not gonna try it. But nonetheless, I'm
Keep Ashley
saying
Parham in your prayers.
we have to uh, slice it with clinical precision. This
Mm,
story, how we're laying everything out, because it's funny. People are just looking at things that certain people say, and they just
mm,
they take it out of proportion. So
mm. Meanwhile, half of the world is in revolt. There's a bunch of crazy stuff going on even here in America, and don't nobody know about it because everybody's upset about a man who is still in jail and is not going home today. You know, a lot can happen. A lot can happen in 50 months. And even if you knock off 13, A lot can happen in 39. Shoot, look at this past year. How many things have happened in 12 months? Let's stop being so easily manipulated into our emotions because we don't get the immediate result that we want at the time that we want it. The whole world isn't microwave. And God's time is a crock pot. It's not a microwave. Every now and then he might move air fryer fast, but usually it's crock pot.
Mm.
Y'all know how we do over here. We set it and forget it. We say the prayer and then we let it go and then boom 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 boom. I asked the Lord to not let this demon out on the streets. I asked him to keep him there. And you know what? Every day I wake up, he's still there. And my prayer is answered. We get so upset. We get so upset with all the things that we ask for that we forget to give thanks for the things that we have. We forget to give thanks for the things that we have. So on that note, my name is Jaguar Wright. That's not Wolfgang Amadeus, but y'all know who he is. And
Mm.
don't believe the hype. And don't go so easy into believing in the nightmares that they push out. We love you all, we really do. And we're grateful for this community. Thank you guys for showing up. For some of you, we know it's very late. Thank you for taking the time to stay. Thank you, Jay. And yeah, we out of here. Peace.